Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Drivable Motorcycle mod, which is being made by user Hunk92, and what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is, well, like the name says, a drivable motorcycle. And I gotta say, this thing is pretty freaking awesome. And I mean, seriously, how many of you out there have always wanted some form of vehicle here in Fallout 4 to roam around the Commonwealth with? It's just a good idea, and in my mind, considering we are referred to as the Lone Wanderer, it makes sense that it's a motorcycle. And thankfully, it's pretty easy to get your hands on this thing once you do have it installed, though I should mention that the installation process, because of the camera change for the motorcycle, it does require an edit to your Fallout 4.ini file. I say this because I know some of you guys out there aren't comfortable editing those INI files, so I just want to put that out there right from the get-go so that you do know. But once you do have it installed, if we go to the map here, you'll find the motorcycle behind the Museum of Freedom, just to the east, where we have this new motorcycle waypoint, which is where we'll find the Lone Wanderer motorcycle, and I love this thing. Now, of course, it's a pretty standard model from the game. You'll find one of these motorcycles lying around all over the place in their ruined form, and I like the idea that it's just reusing that in making it a usable vehicle. And personally, I actually like the old rusted look. It is the post-apocalypse after all, but if you would like to clean this thing up, there are a whole load of different modifications for this thing, from body paints to wheel paints and even accessories you can get onto there, that you can really customize this to whatever you so desire. Me though, I like the rusted look, so I'll stick with that. Now, once you do find the vehicle, you can't just jump on it and ride. In fact, if we click E on here, you'll see, oh no, it's damaged and needs repairs. So you'll need to bring over to this thing 3 oil, 5 screw, 5 steel, 5 adhesive, and 2 rubber. Now, thankfully, of course, I've hidden all of these items already through the magic of, the command console right here in this wooden crate. So if we head back over here to repair it with all these items, there we go. It starts a very awkward animation where it takes control away from you and kind of shifts every so often as if you're repairing it, ? And there we are. We get the new message saying that we have successfully repaired it and that a holotape has been added to our inventory for the settings. Now let's go take a look at that real quick as well. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to go over with it, and there are a few important things. So let's go to miscellaneous, and you'll find this holotape all the way down at the bottom as it is in brackets. Oh boy, there we are, settings, drivable motorcycle. There we go, so pop in that, where we have this lovely menu with 3 different menu items. Now the first is management, and this is probably the most important section of the whole menu system here. Now the first is to call your motorcycle. Now this is useful if, say, you've walked around for a bit and you've lost sight of it, or perhaps you've driven it into the water. If you drive it into too deep of water, it'll shut off and you'll have to go to the shore and then teleport it to you. And again, I need to point out something here that, as it does mention here, if you do want to call the motorcycle to you, make sure you are in an exterior location. It will not go into any indoor areas, which I think should be self-explanatory, frankly. Now, the next item we have here is speed management, and this I'm actually a little torn on, honestly, because for me personally, the speed of the motorcycle, I think, is spot on. I think it is perfect. Anything slower feels awkward, and anything too fast feels cheaty to me. But then again, you may just want to get from one end of the map to the other quickly, which if you do that, I mean, come on, fast travel. But you could switch it to very fast if you did want to be an Indy car going through the wasteland. But for me personally, I like the default speed, but if you'd like to change it, you do have that option. Now let's head back. And the final option here is something, as you can see, is a work in progress. It doesn't actually function right now, but you still can get into the menu option, so I think it's good to talk about it. And that is, in the future, you'll actually have to power this thing with a fusion core. Now, as you can see up at the top, it's not yet implemented, but when it does get implemented, you'll be able to turn it off and on, it would appear at least, from this menu option here, and from here it appears that you'll be able to change the consumption rate, which I think is good, because, well, fusion cores are precious, and I'd like to switch it to, you know, sipping that fuel down very, very slowly, personally. But so yes, that is something that isn't in yet, but is certainly there to think about for the future. And I like the idea of it being actually powered by something, as for the moment, it may potentially be a little bit overpowered, being infinite fuel and all. Alright, let's hit exit, and that actually should bring us, yes, all the way back to the main menu. Now, the second option we have in the main menu is follower behavior, and we only have one thing in here to change, and that's how your companions follow you. Now, by default, they will follow you on foot, so they'll just run behind the motorcycle and try and keep up, which they won't, which means eventually they'll just end up teleporting to you anyways, as that's how companions work. But if we click this, it'll actually change it to another option where the companion will try to sit on the motorcycle with you. They'll get on and put their arms around you, which is a cool option. I like that idea, but the reason why it's not set to default, at least from what I've seen and what I think is the reason, is it kind of is a little awkward. It has a tendency, at least when I've tried it so far, that the companion who's sitting on the back kind of clips in and out weirdly. So that seems to be an issue for the time being. So for me, I just tell them to, you know, go on foot. I don't mind anyways. I'm the one who wants to drive the cool motorcycle, not them. But I also should note here that there is a hope for the future, that one of the planned features is that your companions could one day have their own motorcycles, which I think is really cool, because imagine that, you could roll around the Commonwealth as your own biker gang. That would be interesting, but for the time being, that is still just a daydream. Now, the final thing we have is equipments, and this is kind of just a weird cosmetic option, where once you get on the bike, you can have it set that you put on road goggles, or if your companions get on, they put on road goggles. Now, personally, my character wears a helmet, so really no need for this, but hey, if you like road goggles, there you go. Now that is everything for settings. Let's just get a good look at our beautiful lone wanderer here in comparison to our character size, and I'd say it all fits quite nicely. So now that we are ready to go, we just need to hit E, and it brings us to a menu where we can either select to ride the motorcycle or go into inventory, which I'm going to click this real quick, just because it is such a cool feature, especially if you are on your own out in the wasteland. It's really nice having this extra inventory over here so that you can put in some of your, useless crap that you've, found in the wasteland, to then take it back to one of the cities to sell. It's just a good, fun option to have that additional inventory. Now, let's actually get to riding this thing. And there we go, we get on the motorcycle, it gets a quick little engine start sound, and then here is where I am encountering a bug. Now, I've talked to a couple of people and who are also using this mod, and they don't seem to be having this issue. It may just be something with me, so I want to mention this now. There's supposed to be an engine sound playing right now. For me, though, it's completely silent. Now, I've tried everything I can think of, messing with my INI files, wiping out every mod that I have. I've even reinstalled the entire game, and it still doesn't seem to be working for me. So it may just be something weird with my computer, but please do note that there should be a sound playing right now for the engine idling. And as for how this controls, well, you control it with the WASD keys like you would walking around. W to go forward, S to go back, A and D to go left and right. And that is how it works. Now, you can also control with the mouse. So if I hold down W to move forward and then look around with the mouse, We also do turn, but for me, it's not quite as responsive and fine-tuned of controls as if I was just holding down the WASD keys. So I'll just go with that. And as you can see, this is a pretty all-terrain vehicle. It can go over quite a lot of stuff, and that is intentional, basically so that this thing doesn't get stuck in awkward places, which would be a bad thing. I mean, then again, we do have that call function, so we could always get it out of said awkward spaces. But nonetheless, you know, it's nice to just avoid them, hopefully, overall. But let's take it for a little joyride and actually head back to Sanctuary to take a look at the modifications on this thing. And you can see the relative ease at which this thing does just sort of drive across the Commonwealth quite nicely. And I'd say a pretty decent speed. This is why I think that default is perfectly fine, that you really don't need to make it go any faster or slower for that matter. Default seems to work just great. And, you know, you go along quite nicely. I'm seeing some laser fires. Someone seems to be attacking Sanctuary, perhaps. Oh, that's not what I need in the middle of a mod video. Well, I don't see anyone attacking. Interesting. Well, ooh, though I did just get some massive frame rates as I did approach Sanctuary, which, wow. I guess it was having a hard time loading everything in. Interesting. Alright, well, let us make it over to our usual mod location where I have a chemistry station waiting, as that is what you will need to use to actually create your various modifications for this motorcycle. So let's move ourselves over here and just park up. Now, all we need to do is just get off the motorcycle, and I see all those people fighting over there. Now, there we go. We turn off the motorcycle and get off with a quick animation. And let's actually zoom out. Haha, excellent. We've kept our head. That, yeah, that's an interesting thing that can occasionally happen. It's one of the known bugs that when you get off the motorcycle, sometimes it makes your head disappear. Now, that can easily be fixed if it happens by simply jumping back on the motorcycle and then leaving again. But it is something to make note that it is a possibility. Where are those? Oh, I can only detect those people. I was just wanting to look and see who those people are that are attacking us, apparently. Awkward. Well, I'm just going to ignore them and keep going with the video. So, as I did mention, you do need the chemistry station to build the different modifications for this, and let's have a gander at what all you do get. So you'll get these fun 3 new options in here: motorcycle equipment, motorcycle paint, and motorcycle wheels. And we'll start up in equipment. And the first one you get is pretty cool because it's a cart for dog meat. It just goes right in the back so he can hitch a ride with you and not have to run behind you. And I love it. So let's build that. Let's also build ourselves a front light, what the heck, and a leather backpack for the back. Now these will, well, honestly, I don't know if they actually do change the amount you can store in the motorcycle, as so far it seems that the motorcycle can just go ahead and store a whole lot of things. But we do have 2 different backpacks that can go on, so for you to change and potentially add more carry weight. Now, down in paints is the next option, where we have, oh boy, I'm out of oil. Intriguing. But, oh well, it's just a variety of different paint options in here for you to build at your heart's content and make it all sorts of different colors. I could go over all of them, but frankly, like I said, I like the dirty look. So for me, the just regular look that it has right now and this Paint 7 Eiger Black Dirty are the only 2 that I find, frankly, useful in any way, shape, or form. All of these, to me, look a bit awkward. Like the red, for instance, makes it really, really neon red. But you guys can always play around with those to your heart's content. And finally, the wheels, it's the same thing. It'll paint the hubcaps on the wheels to one of these various colors. I'm a little annoyed that I don't seem to have more oil on me, but oh well, c'est la vie, what are you gonna do? So you just got a lot of good little choices in here for what to add. Now, how you add any of these modifications, whether or not they're, say, ooh boy, lots of people getting shot and killed over there, but no matter if it's, say, that cart on the back or any of the paint jobs, how you load it on is exactly how you load things into your companion inventory to have them, say, put on a suit of armor. So if we put in the steel pack, the front light, and the dog meat cart, we put those in there, and then just hit T. There we are, you can see it added the cart. Same thing with the front light, there we go, and the steel backpack, which apparently is a cooler, that's been welded on there. And the same goes for any paint jobs as well. You'll just put the paint job into here, hit T to equip it, and you're good to go. Now, if I get onto our lovely motorcycle, dog meat will actually get into that cart, as you can see there. But you'll also notice it's a little awkward. He's actually standing in the cart, and he, just kind of sits there and moves with it. Oh, there we go. But we have a motorcycle with a dog cart in the back, a light on the front, and a cooler that's been welded onto the seat. Good times indeed. And I've really been having a lot of fun with this motorcycle, as it's just cool to drive around and, enjoy yourself. Now let's just sort of roll through this battle over here and run the hell away. You guys have a good time fighting. I'm gonna go and just, mosey on out. There we are, beautiful. And yeah, you can just go anywhere you wish in the wasteland with this motorcycle and with ease, and it just makes traveling a cinch. And so if you would like to check out this mod for yourself, and I would definitely suggest that you go and do it, you could take a look at the link in the description as always. And I really do say to go and check it out. It is just a cool and enjoyable mod. And, I mean, come on, Dog Meat loves this little cart back there. Makes it a lot easier for him to move around with us. But yes, that's going to be it for today, folks. I hope you all have enjoyed. And, of course, that you do come back for the next one, when we'll be looking at what hopefully will be another fun mod. But until that time, thank you for watching. And, as always, have a good one.